Welcome back to the Sales Integrity Podcast. I am your host, Sean Pickett, and I am excited for today's topic, which is discussing the difference between a canned message and a message template. Now, at first blush, those two might sound like the same thing, right? What is the difference, right? Canned message, message template. It's all kind of the same thing, isn't it, Sean? Well, actually, I'm going to walk you through the difference between these two and why one is better than the other. So first of all, let's describe what a canned message is. A canned message is something that's really quick, easy, and generic. And in my opinion, it's kind of lazy, unimaginative. It's not creative, and it really doesn't add a lot of value. Let me give you an example of this. So on LinkedIn, as it relates to social selling, a lot of you out there use LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you get all sorts of suggested reasons to reach out and touch somebody, so to speak, right? So first one is connection request, right? So you may know so-and-so, you have mutual connections, so you're encouraged to connect with as many people as possible, especially like-minded professionals. So when you go to click connect, they being LinkedIn, provide you a generic canned message that goes like this: I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. It's as simple as that. A one sentence. It doesn't even have a period at the end of it, so it's not even a complete sentence. And it says, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. Now, every day I get dozens and sometimes 20, 30, up to 40. I think the most I got was 50 connection requests through LinkedIn. And most all of them just have this simple generic message: I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. That adds no value to me. I have no idea what caused these individuals to reach out and want to connect with me. So I don't understand the purpose of the connection. And I don't want to just connect with any Tom, Dick, or Harry, Jill, Jane, or Mary, right? You got to have a purpose-driven network. At least that's my approach. There's two different, methods to the madness: the quantity approach and the quality approach. I take the quality approach. Quantity approach is not bad for everyone. For instance, if you're in the staffing industry, you're a recruiter, headhunter, it makes as much sense as possible to connect with as many people as possible. So that might work for that type of role. So it could work for different roles. But if you're in the B2B, complex technical, selling world, you're in the B2B industry, and you're basically, your relationships are everything. People buy from who they know, like, and trust. It's very prevalent in the B2B complex technical selling world. So your relationships are important. So if someone looks through your network on LinkedIn and reaches out to you and says, hey, would you be willing to facilitate an intro to so-and-so? And you're like, yeah, I was just kind of promiscuously connecting with people on LinkedIn. I don't even know who so-and-so is. Then how valuable is your network, right? Instead, if you have a quality-based approach, you could leverage your network as an asset and a differentiator over the competition, because you can actually act on your network and facilitate meaningful introductions between like-minded professionals that are trusted contacts in your network. So that's the approach I take. That's kind of my point of view. So when I see these canned messages come into me, I just kind of shake my head. I don't have enough time to, just reply to all those. So what I do is I scan through all of the connection requests, and the ones that actually have a tailored message, a message that's specific to me and says, hey, I looked at your profile, I listened to your podcast, I read your article or blog, I thought it would be great to connect, here's why, that type of deal. I first see those and I go to those first, and then I make a decision whether to connect with them or not. So more times than not, I do. They've taken the time to research me and have a touch point that was meaningful. So more times than not that I'll connect with them. If those are just people that are overtly selling to me, I have some that tailor the message, but basically they show up and throw up their marketing messaging and wanting to overtly sell me on the first date, so to speak. So we're not even connected yet, and they're just kind of spewing out all what they do and what they're selling, and am I interested? I don't connect with those people either. So you can't just change that template message. But I'll tell you this: people become so numb to that canned message in LinkedIn that if you're sending a lot of connection requests and you're not getting a lot of hit rates in terms of people connecting with you, that's probably why. You want to look at that message and have more of a customized, tailored message that's meaningful, adds value to them. So keep that in mind. That's an example of a canned message. Another one on LinkedIn that's a example of a canned message is this so-and-so has a work anniversary. Take a look at all these people that have a work anniversary, which is, it's starting to feel like LinkedIn's becoming a Hallmark a little bit, making up holidays and stuff. But nonetheless, congrats on your work anniversary. That's what you get. So if you go, it says say congrats, you click that button, and it automatically populates their template, their message template, with the canned message that says congrats on your work anniversary. So no matter how tempting it is, say, hey, I got another quick touch point in, I'll be top of mind for this person, do not hit send on that message. That's just like, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. It's too generic. Everybody does it. You're not standing out from the crowd. And so that's a canned message that you're going to want to edit and change, right? So, so-and-so, it's been a long time since we last spoke. I see you've been at XYZ company for the last 4 years. So you could still use that work anniversary as kind of as a cue for you to reach out to them, but you don't even have to mention, hey, happy 4-year work anniversary. It's not like they're dating their company or their job, right? It's just kind of an awkward, template anyways, canned message anyways. So just keep that in mind. That's a canned message. You want to change it and tailor it and just show that you were thinking about them, because that'll stand out to people. And then you really want to make it more valuable than that canned message anyhow. Don't start getting associated with generic canned messages, because it's just white noise and people don't pay attention to it. And most of the time, how many times have people actually replied to your canned messages that said, congrats on your work anniversary? If you've done that, you probably haven't really received anyone going, oh, hey, thanks for reaching out. Because you want to know why? Because they have 100 or hundreds of people that did it. So once they see all the same generic messages, nothing stands out, so they just kind of ignore all those and mark them as read and move on, right? Or even if they mark them as read. So keep that in mind. But the ones that have more than that one line, and it looks a little bit more tailored, that looks like a regular message that you're reaching out to them, and it's a one-to-one personalized message, they're more apt to read it and reply to that, and now you've engaged with them and had another meaningful touch point. So just keep that in mind as well. So I started with canned messages because those are the easiest ones to spot. You can see them coming a mile away. They're boring. It's lazy, unimaginative, it's not creative, adds no value, and mainly it just shows that, hey, this was quick, easy, generic, I'm just going to hit send, and everybody knows, they're on the other end of that. They see the suggestions from LinkedIn to do the same thing, so they know it didn't take much effort for you just to do that, right? So just be careful about what that says about you and your ability to prepare and think through and add value. That says a lot about you as a professional. So just keep in mind that could be tarnishing your personal brand if you're just constantly hitting send on those things, okay? So that's canned messages. So how is that different than a message template, you might ask? Well, a message template, look at it like a starting point. And that starting point is based on research and or experience, right? So you might have researched a particular target audience, target market. You understand that I'm reaching out to CIOs of financial services companies, and they're dealing with these challenges, issues, and goals. And I picked the primary challenge that's relevant for them. So I have I have experience in working with those CIOs in that industry. We've helped them with our solution to overcome their challenges and address their issues and goals. And so you might come up with a very impactful, valuable template that describes that, but keeping it succinct. And you've carefully prepared that message. So you take the time once to prepare it, and it becomes a template that you could use again and again, that you can send out, and it's going to come across as tailored and specific to people in their role, in their industry, facing their unique challenges, issues, and goals. So yes, it's a template, but it's carefully crafted based on research and experience, and it's more importantly going to add value to the recipient of that message. So keep that in mind, and you're going to have their name in there, and so that personalizes it a bit. You're going to sign it. You'll have your name at the end of it. But the other thing to keep in mind here is that when you have a message template, it could be 80 to 90% done, right? So you could just send it as is, or with each person, if you happen to do a little bit more research and seeing that, hey, here's something that happened to them recently, or you saw something they did in the news, or whatever it may have been, you could just tack that onto the message template. So that brings it home, that final 10, 20%, where, hey, so-and-so I see you recently spoke at this event. I watched a quick video clip of it that looked awesome. And then you have your message template. We specialize in helping CIOs in the financial services industry address the regulatory issues associated to whatever it is. We've helped XYZ company and ABC company achieve such results, and I'd like to simply share that with you. So that something like that is going to be a template you could use again and again. It's valuable, it's well researched, it's meets the mark for them. And then you can kind of tack on a little bit more of a personalized message to that if you want. If not, it should stand alone as is and be good to reuse again and again and again. So that way you're saving yourself some time. Okay, so that's different. The canned message is something queued up by someone else. It's generic. It's very short. Doesn't add value. Lazy, unimaginative. It's just not creative, right? It's not going to stand out amongst the sea of competition. Message template is a starting point based on research and experience and careful preparation tailored for that role and their unique situation. It's going to stand out, be different, unique, creative, and imaginative. So just keep that in mind. That's the difference between the two. A simple analogy I like to use is literally think of any food that comes in a can versus food that you go to the restaurant and order, while you go to a nice restaurant, right? So if you think of a canned message like canned food like soup, you basically just heat it and eat it. There's no customization. It comes as is out of the can. It's not the greatest of food. It's not going to kill you, hopefully. You probably wouldn't go to it again and again and again, but literally that's what you're doing on social media and social selling when you're just leveraging these canned messages. It's like eating soup every single day. Keep that in mind. So that's the example when we look at food, but a message template is like going to a nice restaurant. Yes, they have a menu of items that you could choose from. So that's kind of that template side of things, right? So the menu is going to have a certain select menu of items that you could choose from. And let's say you choose steak, right? So steak is on the menu. That's the template. But the customization, the personalization, that last 10 to 20%, the steak is 80% ready. It's cut, it's ready to go based on what type of cut you order. But do you like it well done? Do you like it Pittsburgh charred? Do you like it medium rare, right? Everyone might order a little bit different. So that's that tailoring part of it. So if you're a sales rep and you understand your customers, or say you're a waiter and you understand your customers and you have regulars, you know that Sean likes it Pittsburgh charred with medium rare, and Bob likes it rare, that type of thing. So you're going to start to understand your audience, and that's that little tailoring you could do at the end there. So it's like the messaging as well. So steak versus, canned soup, if you will. Steak versus soup. That's the analogy I like to use. So let me bring this home. I always talk about the 4 cornerstones of lead generation success. And really those 4 cornerstones are referral selling, strategic networking, social selling, and cold calling, okay? And those are the 4 cornerstones. I advocate a well-balanced lead generation approach and method. So not just one strategy and picking one and going deep with that one. You should leverage all 4, and at the very least 3 of them. But I can give you an example here how message templates work with each of these. So I'll do this real quick as we end the episode. But if you're cold calling someone, for instance, we have a methodology at Sales Integrity that we teach and help our customers customize, known as systematic sales messaging. And it's the combo approach of the phone and email, using the phone and email over the course of weeks and even months. So it's a series of touch points that you're using in combination with one another, phone, then email over a certain period of time. It's a very methodical approach to spreading it out. But the phone, we have a script for live conversations. We have a script for leaving a voicemail. We have a script for talking to an executive assistant or receptionist. We have a script, for the live conversation, handling common questions and objections and so on and so forth, right? So there's a script for all that, and there's an email template for each of the emails that'll be sent, and they're all prepared and tailored a little bit differently depending on what touch point it is. Touch point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And it's methodical. Now you may feel like, wow, that's a lot of work and that's a lot of touch points and all, but really I've given a ton of stats over in the past on this podcast. There's a lot of research out there. HubSpot does a great job of providing a lot of it. But it takes between 8 and 12 touch points to initiate the first contact with the prospect, and then guiding it home, 12 plus to be able to actually close the deal and sell them and have them buy. So just keep that in mind, that you should prepare a systematic approach that accounts for that many touch points. And that's what we've done with systematic sales messaging as it relates to cold calling. So there's one example of message templates and narrowing it down based on the role and their unique challenges, issues, and goals and industry and so on and so forth. When it comes to social selling, I just gave you all the examples in LinkedIn. So based on the various scenarios, I'm going to connect with them. I'm going to reach out to them based on a trigger. I'm going to reach out to them based on seeing them in the news or a promotion or a change of job or something like that. We have a message template for all of those scenarios that are starting points that add value. So keep that in mind, that you could be systematic in your messaging approach, whether it's cold calling or social selling. Then when you look at the other two, referral selling, we have message templates to make it easy to ask your customers for referrals, and more importantly, to make it easy on them to simply just click send and fire away, because you're going to create the messaging that they would leverage to introduce you so they don't have to think through it, for instance. That's one example. So there's plenty of examples there where we have prepared message templates for that scenario of asking for referrals from your customers. Then strategic networking is really working with strategic partners, networking contacts. And when it comes to strategic networking, you want facilitated introductions from them to target market, prospects and end customers, right? So given that, we have messaging templates for that as well, and how to ask for that and how to position it. We have a process known as a network sift, or conducting a network sift. And that's one of the free videos you get in our free 7-day video email course, how to master the game of complex technical selling, really 7 steps to master the game of complex technical selling. That's one of the steps, is we talk about strategic networking and conducting a network sift. We walk through that whole process there. If you do want that, to opt into that, it's a free 7-day video email course. Just go to mastercomplexselling.com. You'll learn all about it there. You can opt in and get 7 free micro coaching sessions led by me, virtual Sean, that's going to help you out. And we provide you, all of the information on how to execute and just learn one tactic per video that you can immediately go apply in the real world of selling. So keep that in mind. Mastercomplexselling.com. Little plug for the free course there, but it's free. So it doesn't cost you anything but time, right? And go learn and apply, and it'll be really useful for you. So anyways, as we bring this home, you could see strategic networking, referral selling, cold calling, social selling, the 4 cornerstones of lead generation success. All of them are built upon this concept that you should be well prepared, so you could be organized in your approach and be very productive in your use of time as it relates to generating leads and building sales pipeline. And message templates are at the core of all of that. Okay. Not canned messages. Canned messages, again, are like soup. You heat it and eat it. It's unimaginative, doesn't taste very good. You're not going to want that for every meal, but who wouldn't want steak for every meal, right? But anyway, steak, that's the other side of the coin. It's about 80% of the way there. You just got to choose the way you want it cooked and prepared and all that good stuff. And that's like a message template. So go out there and apply these lessons. Hopefully this sheds some light on the difference between canned messages and message templates. And more than anything, did a public service announcement today, which is basically my message is knock it off if you're using these canned messages, because you're doing yourself more harm than you are doing yourself good. So that's it for today. Hopefully you got some value out of this. You can go immediately apply it in the real world of selling. In the meantime, let's finish today's episode, as we always do, with a few quick reminders. No matter where you listen to the Sales Integrity Podcast, please subscribe to it. Just subscribe to the show so you get them automatically on a weekly basis. The more subscribers we have, the more we're found out there by other potential subscribers, so that greatly helps the show. We are now on Stitcher Radio, so in addition to Stitcher, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. And no matter where you subscribe or listen to us, please provide a 5-star rating and a quick 1 to 2 sentence review. That also helps others find the podcast. So help us grow the show. That would be great. And also, we still have our free 7-day video email course out there. You can go to mastercomplexselling.com to subscribe to that. So again, mastercomplexselling.com. It's a free 7-day video email course titled 7 Steps to Master the Game of Complex Technical Selling. So that'll do it for today. Go out there in the sales world today. Help your customers buy what they want, what they need, and what benefits them. And most importantly, go out there and make it a great day.